Coming to you from deep within the heart of Texas in our secret underground bunkers, it's the New Republic Radio Show.
Obama.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a phone?
Do more.
How do he give you a phone?
You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
I have a question. Okay, what's wrong with Romney again?
Romney, he sucks. Bad. Obama.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a phone?
Do more.
How do he give you a phone?
You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
So where do you start with this? I mean, there's obviously the butchering the English language part. There's basically the blatant vote buying with the Obama phone. And then there's just the sound argument of why you shouldn't vote for Romney and vote for Obama is because Romney sucks. I mean, how do you argue with that? I mean, she made it pretty clear. I mean, Romney sucks. Obviously, she has concrete reasons for that, but I mean, her big reason why she likes Obama is because of the Obama phone. And that we need to keep him in president. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I mean, that is just a great endorsement. I'm sure that we're going to start seeing TV commercials, you know, Obama, keep him in president. I mean, I just don't know, people. I don't know what this great nation has come to, but this is the problem with politics. It's people like this. And it's sadly the vast majority of the Democrat Party which propagates this. You know, this is exactly what they want. This is per their plan to stay in power, to accumulate power, and to keep that power. It just blows me away that, unfortunately, you know, our populace for the most part is so uneducated that this kind of stuff works. You know, you have people that are paid to go to his rallies. You have people that are paid to protest against Republicans, against Romney, stuff like that. I mean, that's just basically how our political system works right now. And it's horrible. You know, and before any of you call me up and try to tell me that this phone program was started by Republicans or under Bush, it wasn't. Get your facts straight. Yes, it was brought up, but everybody looked at each other and was like, seriously? Like, this is a horrible idea. So they didn't go ahead with it. But of course, the Obama administration has no qualms about this kind of thing. But it's just sad, and I just wanted to show you guys that this is the kind of thing that keeps Obama in power. This is the kind of thing that keeps people like Pelosi, Reid, and the other demagogues of the Democratic Party in power. It's amazing. It's horribly sad, but it's reality. And, you know, I don't know the whole, a lot of you have probably heard about this, the whole Obama phone thing. You've probably seen the parodies on the internet. And I'm going to show you one later that they're really funny. But I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, how long until this is going to be called a code word? You know, the racist code words. And I'm just getting sick of them because it's all the time we're being told that there's all these made-up terms that are basically racist code words. And again, nobody tells me when the meetings are happening. I never know where to show up. I don't know what to wear. I mean, seriously, because if I would at least get one of the meeting, you know, times, I could show up and find out all these code words. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just not cool enough. I mean, I'm pretty white. I don't know. I don't know why I'm not cool enough to get any invites, but you know, where they come up with all these code words, I'll never know. For instance, like Chicago. Any reference to Chicago, that's a racist code. That's a racist code word. So when you bring up Chicago and all the thugs that Obama used to hang out with and still has relationships with, oh, that's totally racist. For instance, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that's a racist code word.
It's peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Now there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
I mean,
Peanut butter
really?
jelly.
Like, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that's racist. Okay. And it's whatever. Okay, moving on. We're going to get to the news segment here. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of different things that have been going on in the media. And as you know, if you've listened to my show, you know that a lot of the things that I talk about are stuff that you'll never hear of in the regular media, or even some of the good media that's out there on the internet. But that's my job, is to go and find all this stuff. Anyway, Univision report connects Operation Fast and Furious scandal to murders of Mexican teenagers. Now, before I go into this very deep, I just want to bring up the simple fact that I am amazed and I am so glad that we have a news agency out there like Univision that's somewhat mainstream. I mean, obviously they're not super mainstream in America because it's mainly an English-speaking country, but they're still based in America. And they have a large viewership in America. But the thing is Univision is the first, and I'm talking about CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and all of them. They are the first network that actually went out and put footwork into the Fast and Furious scandal. And what I mean by this is I'm going to bring up some of this stuff here. And I'm just glad there's somebody out there that's actually looking out for us. Now, I realize that Univision as a whole, you know, is probably not super conservative. So there's probably some things that they're behind that I wouldn't agree with. But, you know, ultimately I'm behind the truth. And I want to know the truth, and I agree with the truth. And sometimes truth hurts. But, you know, I just have to give props to them. You know, they did that whole interview with Obama and Romney, and of course they hit Obama super hard. And I was like, finally, yes, there's some kind of news agency out here that actually wants to talk about the truth, reality, and be real. But they were the only one. Anyway, they found here some connections to Fast and Furious with some murders of some Mexican teenagers. There was a graduation party going on for two teenagers. Unfortunately, that night at the house, there was 20 hitmen that were sent out here. For whatever reason, the article really doesn't go into it. But sadly, 14 young men and women were killed, and 12 more were wounded before the hitmen finally fled. They basically went in and started shooting everything up. And some of them stayed outside and started shooting at neighbors and stuff, and people that were, some of the teenagers that actually did get out of the house, well, unfortunately, they got a lot of them too. So yeah, 3 of the high caliber weapons fired that night in Villa de Salvacar, I don't know how you say that exactly, were linked to a gun tracing operation ran by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ATF. That operation was Fast and Furious. Univision News identified a total of 57 more previously unreported firearms that were bought by straw purchasers monitored by ATF during Operation Fast and Furious, and then recovered in Mexico in sites related to murders, kidnappings, and at least one other massacre, the Univision report reads. Also, in another Univision report, Juarez drug cartel leader captured with Fast and Furious weapons. Now, these poor people, and I'm talking about the citizens of Mexico, these poor people are having to deal with this firsthand, all of this Fast and Furious stuff. And now I want to make a difference here. There's the Fast and Furious, the government of Mexico had no idea about. Now, the liberal media and basically all the media, they want to bring up the fact that there was an operation like this under George Bush. Yes, there was. But get your facts straight. The facts are that operation had the Mexican government had complete knowledge, and they worked with our people in that operation. It was a gun running operation, but the weapons were fully tracked, and agents on both sides of the border were working to do this. Now, Fast and Furious, which was under Obama's administration, that was a completely different operation, and only the U.S. agents knew about it. The Mexican government and agents had no idea that this was going on. They had no idea that we were pumping all these guns into Mexico. And that ultimately they had no tracking devices like they had on them previously. All they were doing was just tracking the men, the people. And of course, all of those people basically got away. And nothing came of it good except for, nothing came of it that was good. Unfortunately, there's just all these murders and all these massacres and all these situations. And unfortunately, one U.S. citizen, a border patrol agent, he was killed with one of these weapons. And I'm glad that there weren't more Americans. But the thing is that keeps not coming up in all of this stuff is all of the Mexican citizens that were killed and harmed and maimed with these weapons. And I just, it blows my mind that more people aren't saying, hey, look, either Obama or Holder, they have to go. Somebody has to answer for this. They're firing a bunch of the lower guys down, but seriously, this caused deaths. This is not like, oh, I screwed up, and somebody lost a job, or oh, I screwed up the American economy and people don't have jobs and losing all their money. No, we're not talking about money and possessions. We're talking about people. But nobody seems to care, and that's horribly sad to me. But I do find the one light of hope is in Univision. At least they are looking at both sides of it, saying that, look, this is just a great injustice and something has to be done about this. But anyway, what is going to be done? I hope something will, but it's sad that so many people are protecting Obama, and of course Obama in turn is protecting Eric Holder. So I don't know, really what's going to come of this. Anyway, moving on. Poll. Plurality of Americans believe polls biased for Obama. And as you heard in one of my earlier stories, I believe it was my last show. But the fact is that these polls can be set up in any way that you want them to. So you can make it look like whatever it is that you want. That's just statistics. If you ask the right amount of people, the right type of people, the right type of question, you can manipulate the polls. And as I'll go into later, that's the reason why, for instance, like during some of the Bush years, and I'm just losing off the top of my head which election it was, but everybody was like so blown away because the exit polls were showing that, exit polls show that so-and-so won, and turns out, Bush ends up winning. Well, there's a reason, because it's the people that you ask. If you're purposely looking for everybody that's, looks a certain way or has a certain type of look, they might have a certain type of political, leaning. And if you just ask only those people, well, of course, your poll is going to turn out a certain way. But I do find it nice that Americans are starting to get hip to the fact that these administrations and these campaigns are literally just using the polls to push their agenda. And in local news, this is something that a lot of you folks will know a bunch about. But you might not know about this. And again, if you don't know about this, This should make you really wonder. Anyway, Daily Caller has an article here. Insult Obama? Not on this campus. Students at Sam Houston State University in Texas, yes, Huntsville, Texas, found this out the hard way yesterday when they erected a free speech wall, a recently popular way for students to highlight the importance of free speech, in which students put up a freestanding wall covered in paper, upon which anyone can write anything they want. Students jumped at the chance to participate. To cite a few examples, some were, "Don't hate against gays," "If you make less than $200,000, Republicans don't care about you," "Life's not a bitch, life is a beautiful woman," "Han Solo shot first," "My boyfriend is a liar," and of course, "Legalize weed," and "Nazi punks can screw off," but of course that was the F-bomb. But just hours in, the free speech wall was vandalized by a professor. Yes, a professor, who was offended that someone had written F Obama on the free speech wall. Students being students, the F word was written on the wall many times about many different topics. But apparently the only expletive that offered this professor enough to take action was the one referring to President Obama. The professor, whom students identified as Joe Kirk, demanded that the student group sponsoring the wall, including Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, and Socialists, cover up only the Obama statement. They refused. He then told them that he would come back with a box cutter and cut it out of the wall himself, which he then did. Shocked that a professor would do this, the student organizers got in touch with the campus police. When the police arrived, they interviewed the students and the vandalizing professor. Then came the surprise. The police told the students that since Professor Kirk was offended by some of the profanity on the wall, the students were engaging in disorderly conduct, a misdemeanor, and had to cover up all the swear words on the wall or take it down. Realizing that this would make a mockery out of the purpose of a free speech wall, the students simply disassembled the wall, thus ending SHSU's several-hour-long experiment with free speech. Now, this is horribly sad, but I have to say it's not surprising in that it happened on a college campus, because as we all know, college campuses are a bastion of liberal, idiotic professors and idealism. But what shocks me is that this happened on a Texas campus. I mean, I would have believed this a lot more and not been as shocked if this would have happened in Austin. But I mean, you know, Huntsville, that's a fairly conservative town. I mean, in the big picture of things. But again, it just goes to show that on college campuses, the ruler of the roost are the liberal, idiotic professors, the ones that want to brainwash everybody, that wants to push their liberal agendas. And of course, when you have anything to say that doesn't meet up with their ideas and, you know, what they want, their narrative, they're going to throw fits, or they're going to do things like this to block you, to keep this from happening, do whatever it takes. You know, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep that idea, that thought process, that free speech from happening. And again, I'm just really sad that it happened on SHSU's campus. I know a lot of folks that go there. And again, you know, it's a great school, but it's just sad that even this kind of thing, you know, could happen deep in the heart of Texas. But, you know, what are you going to do? Again, whenever you have a bunch of professors, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be some crazy liberals among them. So it's just sad, but I wanted to report on it because I know a lot of you people will know about the campus. But the funny part is I'm really surprised about how many people don't actually know about this going down. And I hope something comes of this. This Joe Kirk, I know he's probably got his tenure, so it's like, what are you going to do? But I don't know, maybe his life in Huntsville will just become so uncomfortable that one day he'll just decide to move on and move to greener pastures. And obviously, I don't mean anything bad, and I don't have ill will toward the man, but I do believe that stopping freedom of speech, because there's a lot of things that I don't like to hear, but you know what? I don't stop them. I don't go out and keep people from saying it. But this type of person, I don't see that they have any place at a campus. I don't see that they have any place having any type of control over students or anything like that on the campus. And I just hope that somehow, either he decides that, this type of stuff is just bad, and he's just, gonna chill out and just take his medicine or whatever. If that's the case, that's cool. If he apologizes and changes his policy on this kind of thing, well, then I think that would be great. But if not, if he's just going to stick to his guns, well, then I hope that, at the end of the day, his life is just not that great in Huntsville, Texas, and he just decides to move on and go somewhere where free speech is not a big deal and people don't care about it. Anyway, that's all I want to say there. The coming debates, Wednesday night. There's a reason why I waited till today to do the show. It was just the simple fact that I just wanted to comment on these debates that are coming. The debates between President Obama and Romney are a complete waste of time, and here's why. Because, number one, they're not going to say anything that's going to make a real difference to anybody. Why? Because the debates are not actually about debates. And that's what kills me, and that's the reason why I don't care about them. It's going to be some liberal, I believe it's a CBS liberal moderator. And that's the crazy thing, because I will never understand why the Republicans always let the liberal moderators moderate the debates, and they always do that. Every single one of them, from this debate on, and every year from here all the way back, it's always been liberal moderators. And of course, they're going to control the narrative. They're going to ask the stupid, ridiculous questions. Obviously, I'm going to ask the guy something he does not believe in, does not believe about, completely goes against the Republican Party platform. So I'm going to purposely ask him something about that will make him look bad. Or at least I think it will make him look bad. And then, of course, they go, well, I'm going to ask the Democrat something that's, pro their platform, and it's going to make him look great. Or her, whatever. But that's, that's the way they do. And I will never understand why the Republicans always agree to these moderators. If I were running for president, that would be one of my big things. Number one, I'd be like, when it comes to the debates, we're going to have an equal part conservative, equal part liberal moderators, period. If not, then we just won't have the debates. It's y'all's choice. But the simple fact is they always get people like CBS, NBC, CNN, somebody from those type of places to run as a moderator. And, of course, that's the reason why you always get completely worthless, completely biased debates. Then the other thing is they don't actually debate. And this is what kills me. All it is just, oh, yeah, hey, this is what I think. And then the other guy goes, this is what I think. And they don't actually talk about any real reasons why the other person's wrong or why their idea is better. I mean, they say minor little things, but they never, don't step on my shoes. I won't step on yours. What is the point of that at the end of the night? How does that help anybody? All that basically does is make everybody that was for Romney go, yep, yeah, Romney's great, and, he told him off. And everybody that was for Obama, oh, yeah, Obama really showed him. Nothing happened. That's not a dialectic. And that's what kills me. I mean, seriously, they have no real debating skills. I would love to get up there and debate against both of them. I mean, I would make them look like complete kindergarten amateurs. I'm not going to, number one, I'm not going to pull punches. I'm going to talk about real things, real ideas. And then whenever they come up with their cockeyed idea, I'm going to hit them with the facts. But that's not what they do to each other. So why do we even care? Why do we bother? Why do we waste all this money, all this time, and just the freaking effort? I mean, people sit down and watch it. They go up there and do it. What is the freaking point? I get sick of this whole, the campaigns are too long. The debates are worthless. The national conventions are worthless. We spend all this money for no reason. Now, if for some reason, they came up with this new rule where they're really going to debate, I would be all about the debates because, wow, that would actually get a dialogue going with the American citizens, and people would be like, wow, I thought I supported this guy. I thought he was really cool, but then, that other guy, he made some really good points and he had some really strong facts to back it up. But that's the thing is, none of these guys are going to talk about facts. And if they do, they're going to be their party's facts, where it's basically tilted and weighted toward whatever they, their idea of things, So I don't know, maybe tomorrow night, depending on how I feel, I might do a running commentary on just all the garbage that these guys are going to be talking about, so I just might blow holes in their whole arguments on things. Basically what the other guy should have said. I don't know. Just like I say, again, it depends on how I feel. I may not end up doing that, but I may. I don't know. We'll see. 979-31-TALK-6. If you have any ideas, questions, or comments, give me a call. 979-31-TALK-6. And even if our show isn't going on, you can always leave a message, and I might play you on air if it's good enough. So, yeah. Or funny enough. Either way. Moving on to our last segment of the show. As you guys know by now, Liberal Nonscence. This is where I go around to networks and websites that are of the liberal persuasion and I pick up stories and either make fun of them, debunk them, or just talk about them and highlight all the problems. Anyway, the funny thing was I was going around today and I noticed that there's not really any real stories on any of the liberal websites and or news organizations. They're all about the polls. They have literally 15 different stories about polls this, polls that. So many women, or the vast majority of women are going to be voting for Obama. The vast majority of this minority is going to be voting for Obama. These people hate Romney. Those people, every kind of poll under the sun you can think of. And again, it comes back to my earlier subject of polls. Polls. That's all we hear. But right now, that's all the media can do because there's no real meat. There's no real stories in the presidential election because they don't want to. They're silent on all the stuff in the Middle East, on the mishandling of the bombings and the lying that the administration did to the press and to everybody. They don't want to bring that up. They don't want to bring up the whole issue with Japan and China. They don't want to bring up all the things with Fast and Furious. There's so many things that they can't talk about right now. So what ends up happening is they can only talk about the polls, and as we talked about earlier, the polls are all garbage. They're all showing, and the funny part is, even though they're completely biased, they still show Romney is within, he's got a little bit of ability to make it. He could come out. He could come out on top. It's still close. But they give just enough, 4, 5, 6, 7 points to make the Obama the supporters feel good, and then have something to talk about, and then to talk about like, well, women hate Romney, and Latinos hate Romney, and blacks hate Romney. So basically, the only people that are voting for Romney are white males. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, I don't know. I just thought, I wanted to bring that up and let you guys just know about the craziness. So when you see all these polls, if you are a Romney supporter or if you're just not an Obama supporter, don't feel so bad because the simple fact is they're biased, they're weighted, and they're completely misleading. So just like all these campaigns, they always mislead on the polls. But anyway, and again, don't be surprised if we get to the election and all the exit polls and all this garbage is showing that Obama's ahead by 20 million points, and then all of a sudden he loses. And everybody starts saying, just like they did last time, oh, the election was bought, there was voter fraud and all this other stuff. No, it's just a simple fact that we can't trust the people doing the polls. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap the show up. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all been having a great day. I've been loving the weather. I hope it gets colder and colder and colder. And I will be enjoying that. So anyway, you guys go out. Have a great day. Spread some cheer around. Spread some smiles. Spread the wealth. Help somebody out. Do a good deed for somebody. Hold a door open for somebody. Give to your community because your community is going to give back. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with a very funny Obama phone song that I just thought was really great. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.
Obama.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, He gave us a phone. You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
Does she work for her perks, or do they come from me? A welfare angel to Barack presidency. I saw her on YouTube, thought it was a disgrace. Butchering the English language, trying to make her case. Knew nothing about world affairs or the economy, but she's eternally grateful she got a cell phone for free. When she goes to the polls, it looks as if her vote's been sold. She's got an Obama phone. She's got an Obama phone. When she goes to the polls, it looks as if her vote's been sold.
Low minority got Obama phone.
She's got an Obama phone. It's okay, I understand. It's easy, just hold out your hand. Hey, Mitt, I think you're out of luck. According to her,
Romney sucks. Keep Obama in president, He gave us a phone.
when she goes to the polls, it looks as if her vote's been sold. She's got an Obama phone. She's got an
Obama phone.
When she goes to the polls, it looks as if her vote's been sold.
Low minority got Obama phone.
She's got an Obama phone.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority got Obama phone. Keep Obama in president, He gave us a phone.
Give you a phone.
More.
How do you give you a phone?
You sign up if you on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
I have a question. Okay, what's wrong with Romney again?
Romney, he sucks. Hey!